the only female emperor in Chinese history, the complete, tragic, and glorious life of WuZetian. When people talk about WuZetian, they only remember one thing. She seized power ruthlessly, climbed over countless obstacles, and became the only female emperor in Chinese history. But very few people truly understand. Every single step of her life was forced by desperation. She started as an ordinary official's daughter from Bingzhou. She endured the status of a low-ranked palace talent, a powerless nun, a manipulated queen, and a cautious Empress dowager. At the age of 67, she founded the Zhou Dynasty, rewriting thousands of years of male-dominated imperial history. At 82, she ended her legendary life, leaving only a blank stele at her Qianling mausoleum, letting the world judge her merits and faults. She achieved governance comparable to the glorious Zhengguan era, yet she also carried endless historical controversy for over 1,000 years. Today, we walk through her complete life journey to truly understand the most unique, most misunderstood female ruler in ancient history. Chapter 1. The Roots of Fate. Childhood suffering planted her obsession with power. WuZetian's family background seemed glorious on the surface, but it was actually trapped in a cruel class gap. Her father, Wu Shihuo, was originally a timber merchant. He invested all his family wealth to support Li Yuan's rebellion, finally earning a position among the founding nobles of the Tang Dynasty. Her mother, Lady Yang, was a descendant of the Imperial Sui royal family. Even with such connections, the Wu family was always regarded as new nobility. Old aristocratic clans, such as the powerful Guanlong and Kui families, looked down on the Wu family's merchant origin. Since childhood, WuZetian and her mother lived in humility, without solid family support, constantly facing discrimination and cold treatment. Many later critics claimed her pursuit of power was pure greed, but the truth is clear. In the early Tang Dynasty, family status determined everything. No matter how wealthy the Wu family was, a merchant background always placed them at the bottom of the noble hierarchy. From a young age, WuZetian learned the harsh truth of social prejudice. When she turned 12, her already unstable life completely collapsed. Her father passed away. Her elder half-brothers, born from the legal first wife, despised Lady Yang and her daughters as step-family members. They seized family land, humiliated them openly, and pushed the mother and daughters into a helpless situation. During those desperate days of dependence, WuZetian witnessed a cruel reality. Without power and status, kindness and humility could never protect you. Only absolute power could shield her and her mother from bullying. Some historical records accused her of growing cruel and ambitious from this moment, but it was never innate malice. It was the brutal lesson of survival, deeply carved into her young mind. Trapped and suppressed at home, a new opportunity finally appeared. At the age of 14, WuZetian was selected into the Imperial Palace for her extraordinary beauty. Her mother cried bitterly, fearing her daughter's dangerous future in the cruel harem. But young WuZetian remained calm. She said firmly, "Serving the Son of Heaven, how can this be misfortune?" While other palace girls wept and feared the unknown future, she dared to embrace the risk. This unyielding, rebellious spirit foreshadowed her entire life of defying suppression. Chapter 2. 12 Years of Silence, Hidden Edge in Taizong's Palace. After entering the palace, Emperor Taizong gave her the charming title, Wu Mei. But her official rank never rose above 5th grade talent. For 12 long years, she stayed in the lowest tier of imperial consorts, receiving no promotion no true favor. Emperor Taizong preferred gentle, obedient, and docile women. WuZetian's strong personality, sharp mind, and fearless courage made the emperor vigilant rather than affectionate. Many people mistakenly believe she was ignored due to ordinary looks. In reality, Taizong saw through her hidden ambition. He deliberately suppressed her, fearing her extraordinary temperament. One famous horse-taming incident completely exposed her decisive, ruthless nature and deepened the emperor's caution. The western regions presented a fierce, untamable horse named Lion Mane. No general or noble lady could subdue it. WuZetian stepped forward boldly, stating her method without hesitation. First, tame it with an iron whip. If it resists, strike its head with an iron club. If it still defies, end its life with a dagger. Her words shocked the entire court. The emperor praised her courage, but grew extremely wary of her brutal resolution. For thousands of years, people have debated this moment. Some see it as proof of her inherent cruelty. Others recognize it as her survival philosophy. Threats that cannot be controlled must be eliminated completely. During those 12 neglected years, WuZetian never wasted her time on trivial harem jealousy. She silently observed court politics, learned imperial rules, and studied state governance. Fully aware of her dangerous future, without imperial favor or royal children, she laid a secret lifeline for herself. During Emperor Taizong's final illness, Crown Prince Zhou frequently entered the palace to serve his father. WuZetian took the chance to build a secret emotional bond with the prince. Traditional etiquette criticized this relationship as immoral, but from her perspective, it was her only way to survive the coming disaster. Chapter 3: Rebirth from Despair. The Nunnery that forged her determination. In the 23rd year of Zhengguan, Emperor Taizong passed away. According to Tang Dynasty palace rules, all childless imperial concubines were forced to leave the palace and become Buddhist nuns at Ganye Temple. The cold razor cut off her long hair. Luxurious palace life vanished instantly. Forced into a life of simple meals and quiet lanterns, everyone believed her story had ended completely. Wild rumors claimed she lived dissolutely in the temple. Official historical records prove otherwise. She endured loneliness in silence, maintaining only secret correspondence with Zhou. Just as despair overwhelmed her, imperial harem conflicts brought her a second chance. Empress Wang had long lost the emperor's favor to consort Zhou. Struggling to balance her rival, the empress took the initiative to suggest recalling WuZetian to the palace. She planned to use WuZetian to weaken consort Zhou's influence. WuZetian seized this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. She walked out of the nunnery and returned to the center of imperial power, awarded the title of Zhaoyi. Many accuse her of plotting her return, but the truth is simple. She only grasped the lifeline, voluntarily offered by the Empress. Returning to the palace was only the beginning. The real bloody battle for power had just begun. Chapter 4: Harem power shifts rising from Zhaoyi to Empress. After returning to the imperial palace, WuZetian concealed her sharp ambition, gradually gaining Emperor Gaozong's full trust and deep affection. Step by step, she gathered evidence of Consort Xiao's arrogant and competitive behavior, and steadily dissolved her biggest rival within the inner palace. The most widely debated event of her early political life centers on the passing of her eldest daughter, Princess Ending. Later historical accounts proposed she intentionally harmed her own child to shift blame onto Empress Wang. However, The earliest official record from the Old Book of Tang only states that the princess passed away in early childhood, with no mention of human interference. In ancient times, early childhood illness and premature passing were extremely common. Modern historians generally agree that later generations added dramatic storylines to shape a more critical public image of WuZetian. Regardless of the exact truth behind the tragedy, the princess's passing greatly weakened Emperor Gaozong's trust in Empress Wang. Shortly afterward, both Empress Wang and Consort Xiao lost their imperial status and spent their final days in isolated palace confinement. With inner palace obstacles removed, WuZetian faced far greater resistance from the outer imperial court. Powerful senior government officials, led by Jiangsun Wuji, strongly opposed her elevation to the position of empress. In their traditional view, WuZetian came from a newly established merchant family and had previously served the former emperor. They believed her background disqualified her from the supreme empress title. Yet Emperor Gaozong had long sought to balance political power, as old noble clans had controlled government affairs for generations. The political movement known as Depose Wang, Establish Wu, was never simply a harem power conflict. It represented a core political battle between centralized imperial authority and inherited aristocratic influence. WuZetian became the key political partner who helped Emperor Gaozong break the long-standing noble monopoly over court governance. After rounds of intense political negotiation and confrontation, at the age of 32, WuZetian was officially crowned Empress of Tang, formally entering the core ruling circle of the Tang Dynasty Empire. Chapter 5. Two Sages Ruling the Nation. The moment she abandoned all softness, Emperor Gaozong suffered from chronic wind disease, often enduring severe dizziness that prevented him from handling state affairs. Gradually, he entrusted most national political work to Empress Wu. Well-read and politically talented, she handled official documents logically and efficiently, earning the emperor's deep trust. In the first year of Shangyuan, the emperor and empress were jointly honored as the two sages. Most imperial policies were formulated under her governance. Conservative ministers criticized her for interfering in male imperial politics, but objectively, all governance achieved remarkable results, stabilizing people's livelihoods and improving official administration. A single political incident completely changed WuZetian's heart and erased her last trace of softness. Eunuchs reported WuZetian had secretly invited sorcerers for forbidden rituals. Enraged, Emperor Gaozong ordered Prime Minister Shang Guanyi to draft an imperial edict to depose the empress. Upon learning the news, WuZetian rushed to the emperor's side to defend herself. Faced with her accusation, the cowardly emperor retreated, shifting all blame onto Shang Guanyi. To protect herself, WuZetian framed Shang Guanyi for treason. The prime minister and his son were executed. His infant granddaughter, Shang Guanwanye, was forced into palace servitude. This incident taught her a brutal lesson. No partner, no lover, no emperor could be trusted. Only power, absolute power, could guarantee her survival. From this moment on, she abandoned all vulnerability and firmly grasped national power. Chapter 6. Sole Imperial Rule, Sweeping All Opposition Forces. After Emperor Gaozong passed away, his third son, Li Xian, ascended the throne as Emperor Zhongzhong. But Li Xian was impulsive and immature. He hastily promoted his wife's relatives, even claiming he could gift the entire empire to his father-in-law. Aware of his threat to national stability, WuZetian deposed Li Xian after only 2 months of reign, demoting him to Prince of Luling. She installed her fourth son, Li Dan, as a puppet emperor, confining him deep within the palace. She ruled the nation entirely as Empress Dowager. Many criticize her for being power-hungry and suppressing her own sons. But historically, Li Xian's reckless rule truly endangered court stability. Her drastic imperial reforms triggered widespread rebellion. Xu Jingye raised troops in Yangzhou to oppose her rule. Countless Li royal clan members launched uprisings one after another. WuZetian suppressed all rebellions swiftly and decisively. To intimidate hidden political enemies, she established the copper accusation box, allowing commoners and officials to report treasonous behavior. She temporarily appointed strict officials to stabilize public order and court discipline. Once the situation stabilized, she executed those harsh officials to calm public resentment. Her strict rule created unjust cases. Yet, in a turbulent era, strong centralized control was the only way to prevent national division. To pave the way for her imperial ascension, she carefully built public opinion of divine destiny. When a white stone with sacred inscriptions was discovered in the Luo River, she widely promoted the omen that heaven had ordained her to rule. She also ordered Buddhist monks to compile the Dayun Sutra, propagating that she was a reincarnated bodhisattva, destined to govern the mortal world. Critics call this superstitious deception, but every ancient emperor used similar divine propaganda to legitimize their reign. When public opinion and political conditions were fully prepared, she stood at the threshold of history's greatest breakthrough. Chapter 7. The only female emperor founding the Wuzhou dynasty. In the first year of Tianshou, 60,000 commoners, officials, and nobles jointly petitioned for her ascension. The puppet emperor Li Dan voluntarily surrendered the throne and abandoned his royal surname, Li. At the age of 67, WuZetian officially abolished the Tang Dynasty and founded the Wuzhou Dynasty. She established Luoyang as the divine capital and created her own unique imperial name, Zhou. The character Zhou symbolizes the sun and moon shining together across the sky, representing supreme imperial authority. She became the only officially recognized female emperor in Chinese feudal history, breaking thousands of years of male-dominated imperial tradition. After ascending to the peak of power, she implemented a series of far-reaching reforms, laying a solid foundation for the glorious Kaiyuan era. First, she issued the 12 Suggestions, encouraging agricultural development, reducing taxation and labor conscription, and allowing the nation to recover and prosper. Second, she revolutionized the imperial examination system. She founded the palace examination and officially established military examinations, completely breaking the aristocratic monopoly on official careers. She promoted countless talented commoners, including famous ministers Di Renji, Yao Chong, and Song Jing. Third, she strengthened border defense, stabilizing the western regions and safeguarding national territorial integrity. Fourth, she rectified official conduct, rewarded diligence, punished corruption, and enriched the national treasury. Her governance inherited the prosperity of Zhengguan and nurtured the glory of Kaiyuan, proving her political talent surpassed countless male emperors. Chapter 8. The loneliness of an emperor, aging regret, and succession dilemma. Beneath her supreme imperial power, WuZetian endured endless, lifelong loneliness. She suffered family bullying in childhood, betrayal from her husband in middle age, and only fear and obedience from her officials. No one truly understood her. No one dared to approach her sincerely. In her old age, she favored the Zhang brothers to accompany her lonely imperial life. Later generations heavily criticized her for indulging in male favorites and disturbing court politics. But all male emperors possessed large imperial harems. Her faults were infinitely magnified, merely because she was a woman. Her biggest political dilemma was imperial succession. For years, she hesitated between passing the throne to her Wu clan nephews or her Li clan sons. Prime Minister Du Renji finally awakened her with one sentence: "A son will always worship his mother in ancestral temples. A nephew will never worship his paternal aunt." Fully aware of public sentiment favoring the Tang Dynasty, she recalled Li Xian and re-established him as crown prince, tacitly deciding to return the empire to the Li family. Her choice displayed extreme political wisdom, stabilizing the entire nation's public opinion. Chapter 9: The Final Fall, Divine Dragon Coup, and the Blank Stele. In the first year of Shenlong, Senior Chancellor Zhang Jianji launched the Divine Dragon Coup. Rebel officials executed the disorderly Zhang brothers and forced the aging, ill WuZetian to abdicate. Li Xian was restored as emperor, and the Tang Dynasty was revived. At 82 years old, WuZetian faced the coup calmly. She surrendered her supreme power without resistance, moving peacefully to the Xiangyang Palace for retirement. Before her passing, she left 3 final imperial decrees to resolve all lifelong hatreds and disputes. First, she abolished her imperial title, renaming herself the Great Empress Zetian, returning to the identity of Gaozong's wife. Second, she pardoned the families of wronged ministers, including Zhangsun Wuji and Chu Suiliang, reconciling decades of political conflicts. Third, she ordered a blank stele erected before her mausoleum, leaving all merits and faults to future generations to judge. The blank stele is not arrogance nor self-abasement. It is the calm acceptance of a legendary ruler. She broke all rules, endured all controversies, and chose not to defend or glorify her life. Chapter 10: Final Evaluation. The most misunderstood legend in history. Her contributions to Chinese history can never be erased or ignored. She dismantled the millennium-long aristocratic monopoly over politics, widened career paths for ordinary commoners, stabilized national territorial borders, and bridged 2 golden ages of the Tang Dynasty. She proved to the world that female leaders could possess outstanding wisdom and decisive courage, breaking deep-rooted biases within the ancient male-led political system. At the same time, her life carries undeniable historical flaws. However, if we look deeper into her life experience, we can understand she endured unfair treatment in her childhood, faced hopeless isolation during her nunnery years, experienced emotional setbacks from her spouse, and endured continuous resistance from noble clans and royal family members. She stepped onto the supreme imperial throne simply because she had no safer way to protect herself and stabilize the nation. Some regard her as a rule changer who broke traditional systems. Others honor her as an outstanding, pioneering ruler. Do you believe WuZetian's historical contributions outweigh her shortcomings? Or do her flaws overshadow her lifelong achievements? If you love in-depth Chinese history documentaries, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. In our next episode, we will uncover the full life of Li Zhu, the gentle Tan Emperor, who completely changed WuZetian's destiny.